Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar event. My name is Joshua. I hope everybody can hear me okay. The GoToWebinar software is telling me that my audio is coming through loud and clear. I hope that's true. It's promptly noon Eastern time here. We're going to go ahead and get started on our topic. We're here to talk about Accounting Managed Years Part 2. So basically, as the final segment of our managing years in Church Windows accounting, we're going to go ahead and wrap up that topic today. The video for yesterday's webinar event on Managed Years, Accounting Managed Years Part 1 is already out on the Support Center page to revisit if you missed that, or if you'd simply like to rewatch the material again. It is already out there. We'll most likely have today's recording out there later on today, if not tomorrow morning at the very latest. But we try to get those out there for you to revisit as quickly as humanly possible. So, a couple things before we get started on our topic today. Click the little red arrow on the sidebar of your webinar control panel. That allows you to get that out of the way or minimize that, or drag it out to your second desktop if you've got a dual monitor setup. Again, just allows you to see the full visual screen for the presentation to get the full effect. We're going to work together till 20 minutes after 12 noon Eastern time here, maybe less, depending on if runs a little short. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion of the webinar control panel for me. I'll do my best to keep an eye on those, repeat those, and see what we can do to get those answered. I simply ask that you keep the questions on our topic that we're discussing today. Another webinar event may be better suited to answer questions you have about other parts of Church Windows, or of course, our technical support team are here and available for you to call 800-533-5227 or support@churchwindows.com. Okay. All right. So finally, before we jump in here, this is taken from our accounting workbook A202, pages 48 and 49. Okay. Again, A202, pages 48 and 49. Now, just a little bit of introduction on this was I don't think that the workbook pages offer enough detail in terms of the importance of these two particular sections of the managed years function that we're working with here today. So I felt that it was important that we maybe try to go into a little more depth in here that the workbooks don't offer, just to give you an idea of what options you have and the flexibility that you have in the software that otherwise you may not be aware of. So what we're talking about here is when we go up to special functions, manage years, we talked about these first 6 or 7 things yesterday, change to another existing accounting year all the way through convert to a non-calendar accounting year. We're here today to talk about deleting unused accounts or delete accounting years, okay? So page 48 talks about deleting unused accounts, okay? So when we click on that, notice it opens up our delete unused accounts. But I want to point out initially, first of all, notice my accounting year now says January through December 2021. So part of our webinar event that we did yesterday did go through the process of opening up the next accounting year for January through December of 2021. That is simply part of that managed years list of options, is opening the next accounting year or the new accounting year, which again, I remind you, can be done at any point in time, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change back to the prior year. I want to go back to 2020. So we're going to go up to manage years, change to another existing accounting year, and we're going to choose 2020 from the menu. Notice I can choose any one of my prior accounting years here, but we're going to go back to 2020. Notice here 2021 is not on the list. Why? Because I'm already in 2021. It's not going to let me choose a year that I'm already in. So we're going to choose 2020, and we click OK, and now notice we're back in 2020, okay, January through December 2020. So if we go back up again to our special functions, manage years, delete unused accounts, okay, this is the en masse location where you can delete any accounts that are eligible for deletion in one fell swoop, okay? while there are other places where you can delete accounts individually, or you can delete a couple or easily delete a few accounts, this is the screen if you're wanting to delete numerous accounts simultaneously, that it allows you to do it most quickly and easily, okay? So notice right over here on the left-hand side, we've got the column called delete. It's a checkbox, okay? So again, we do give an option here down at the bottom that says check all, uncheck all. If you really wanted to delete them all, you could do check all, but basically why these accounts are in this list is they meet all of the criteria. They're meeting all of the criteria that allows those accounts to be deleted, okay? There's no balance in these accounts. There's no audit history. There's no transactions posted for them in the year of 2020 in Church Windows accounting, okay? Now notice, one of the things I want to point out is a few things. Let me get out my highlighter again. So right here, with the delete box. Now we're not going to delete all of these, so let me uncheck print for all. And then we're going to go back up and grab our highlighter because I want to point out a couple of things. Notice also to the left it says type. So it tells you the type of an account that each account is. And it also tells you in this case the date that the last account was last used. In this case for these ones labeled say 1/1 with a date of 1/1/1990, the software doesn't even recall the last date when those transactions were or those accounts were used. Maybe I think if there's even an option if an account's never been used, it'll say never used or not used in that field, okay? But you can again you can resort these columns any way you want. So if you want to sort them alphabetically, you just simply click the column header called account name. Now notice it's sorting all of the accounts A to Z. Or if I want to sort it by account number, I simply click on the column header called account number and it'll sort them numerically. So now if we scroll to the top, notice we've got a lot of vendors in this list. They have names, account names, but no account numbers, okay? So once we scroll down, we eventually do begin to run into our account numbers, starting with assets, any liabilities, any funds, income and expenses, okay? So, but it is important that you do read this text that's appearing at the very top of the page, okay? Once you delete, say, income and expense accounts, you may be able to come in here then and delete the associated funds, okay? Or if you're deleting subledger accounts, once all of those subledger accounts are gone, you come back in and run this again, you might be able to delete the main ledger accounts that those sub-funds were kept in or stored in, okay? So that's one of the things it talks about. Ledger accounts or fund balance accounts that have sub-accounts, income, or expenses connected to them may not be deleted. In order to delete the ledger accounts or fund balances, first delete their associated sub-accounts, income, or expense, okay? So again, it may benefit you to come in here and run this screen a second time after you've deleted accounts to see if there's others that may be able to be deleted as well, okay? So again, folks, you pick and choose which accounts can be deleted and which don't, okay? Again, what we have to trust in is there is no audit history in this list for 2020 that we have to worry about, okay? I think personally this is one of the most underutilized features in the software, okay? If I were managing a Church Windows database, folks, accounting in this year, when I go in and delete them in 2020, I am not deleting those same accounts in 2019 or any other earlier year, okay? I am just deleting them from my chart of accounts in the year 2020 only. I am not affecting any other accounting year, whether that's back into 2019 and earlier or forward into 2021, okay? Very important thing to understand. So I'm just sharing with you some experience that I have with working with folks who, when I go in and I look at their chart of accounts and I see they've got a 30-page chart of accounts and they're only using 10 of them, someone hasn't gone in and deleted out these unused accounts that haven't been used. Like in this case, some cases, again, if we click on last used, again, 1900, but then we scroll down and we eventually find accounts that, again, have not been used since 2012. So, again, if those are accounts we're not using, why are we cluttering up our chart of accounts with them? If I find that I need to add them back, I can always add the accounts back into my chart of accounts, again, if absolutely necessary. Okay? So, again, you would literally go down the list and just put a check mark next to each one of the accounts that you're wanting to delete. Most of the time, what folks find is that they've got, a bunch of vendors that they've not used in years and years and years, and they can go through and literally just check them all, and go down the list and then just click delete selected accounts. It'll say, are you sure you want to delete those accounts? You click yes, and they're gone. Okay, en masse, in one mouse click. Okay. Folks, clean up your chart of accounts. Don't keep accounts that you don't need. Okay. It's the way it keeps the chart of accounts manageable on an annual basis. Okay. So again, use this function. Again, you can really keep your chart of accounts in a manageable format by deleting accounts that you're no longer using. And again, trust that if you do delete it and you go, oh, a month later, oh, I needed that account, just go back in and add it to the chart of accounts. Okay? There's nothing in here audit-wise that we have to be concerned with in the current year. Okay? So again, it's literally as easy as going down the list and then just checking the delete selected accounts. And it goes through, no, it's not even, oh yeah, it says 7 accounts were deleted. Deleting these accounts may have caused new accounts to be available to delete. That's just warning you again that going in and may want to run this again and see if any funds or main ledger accounts appeared that now could then be deleted. Okay, so sorry, I thought there was a confirm prompt. There's not. Okay. A backup of your data would probably be strongly advisable before you go in and use this. Whether you're using the Church Windows desktop version or the cloud version of Church Windows, if you're unsure if you want to do this, just go in and make a quick backup of the data before you do it. Then you can go back and restore your backup if, an hour later after you've done it, you realized you regret your choice and you made a mistake and you didn't want to do that, you can go back in and restore your data. Okay? So again, if you're unsure, back up your Church Windows database. Okay? All right. This, folks, is a really powerful function in the software. All right? So that's the only thing I want to point out about it is accounts are not a global function. So what I mean is it's not a static. The chart of accounts is malleable and it changes. So the end of year procedure in your accounting module separates each one of your accounting periods from the other years. So many times while they may have the same accounts or similar accounts, many of them are similar, it doesn't require that they all be the same. The chart of accounts is not static. It's flexible and malleable. It changes. Okay. All right. So let's go back. So that's our delete unused accounts function. Okay. Quick, fast, easy way of deleting and cleaning up your chart of accounts. Now we go back up to special functions, manage years. Let's take a couple minutes and talk about delete accounting years. Okay. We're on to page 49 now on our workbook pages. So here it says delete accounting years. So when I click the down arrow, notice right here it shows me 2 years, 2012 and 2021. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Well, 2012 is here, nothing earlier, because the accounting software requires that we keep the 8 most recent years of accounting data. Okay, so obviously 2013 through 2020 is 8 years. I can now delete 2012 and earlier. If there were any other accounting years prior to that, I could delete those. But it will always require that you delete the earlier years first before deleting a more recent year. So you have to basically go back to the earliest year and work your way forward. Doesn't work the other way around. Okay? Okay, so and the reason why 2021 is in here is because I have not yet posted transactions to my 2021 accounting year yet. As soon as I post a transaction in there for 2021, 2021 is not going to be available in the list, okay, because I got an audit history now that I have to worry about, okay? So again, the 2021 is there because, again, there's no transactions, no audit history, and again, there's nothing that the software is hanging on to from an audit perspective that it needs to keep that, okay? So again, transactions are the key, so that only would be available for years moving forward. And from a standpoint of looking at history, 8 years, again, starting with the earliest before working your way forward. So when I want to delete the year, you simply click choose the year, and I could go back up and choose 2021 and add that to the list, or I can choose them. Well, I guess I can only do them one at a time. I'm sorry. So I choose 2012, click delete years, says make a backup of your data before deleting. If you've not made a backup, close, click no, and then go back in and make your backup. So then it would say delete 2012. We click yes. I've got a backup. It says 1 year was deleted. Okay. So now when I go back up to say special functions, manage years, and I click view accounting year information, 2012 is no longer in this list. There is nothing in my accounting database for 2012 at all. Okay. If for some reason I wanted to go back in and I was unhappy and I wasn't ready to open 2021, sure, I can go back up there, manage years, delete accounting years, choose 2021. It's now the only one available, and go click on that, click delete years, make a backup again, click 2021. Yes, I'm good. Okay. Now I can go back in and reopen the year or something if I really need to. Yeah. And so now it's warning me that there are no years that can be deleted. Okay. Because there aren't any more. So I've got all the data that I've deleted, all the accounting data that I can. Okay. When in doubt, folks, make a backup of your accounting or of your Church Windows software, of your Church Windows data. It is your best and safest way to preserve and protect the data if you're making a broad and sweeping change to the database, such as these two functions. Okay? So, again, backups are your best friend. All right? It doesn't matter whether you're, again, on a desktop local install or whether you're in the cloud, make a backup. Learn how to do that. If you have questions, please call us. All right, that's going to wrap up our topic for today.